Welcome to Chasing Baseball's Immortals, where I explore the career of every 20th century Hall of Famer while collecting one of their original Playing Days cards. Today I'll be taking a closer look at the career of Tim Raines, one of the most dynamic leadoff threats of his generation, a master of getting on base, and a cornerstone of Montreal's rise of the early 80s. I'll also break down his 1981 Future Stars card, a defining early career issue and a favorite entry point for collectors chasing his legacy. Let's get started. Tim Raines was born September 16, 1959 in Sanford, Florida, one of 7 children in a close-knit family. A standout multi-sport athlete at Seminole High School, Raines excelled in football and baseball, showing the rare combination of speed, discipline, and instincts that would define his professional career. Drafted by the Expos in 1977, he moved quickly through their system, converting from second base to the outfield, as his athleticism became impossible to ignore. Raines debuted with the Expos in '79, but it was the strike-shortened season in '81 that announced his arrival. As a 21-year-old rookie, he stole 71 bases in just 88 games, immediately established himself as one of the most dangerous leadoff hitters in baseball. Over the next decade, Raines became the centerpiece of Montreal's offense, earning 7 consecutive All-Star selections from 1981 to 1987 and winning the 1986 National League batting title. His blend of elite on-base ability and historically efficient base running made him one of the most valuable players of the era. Across his career, he stole 808 bases with an extraordinary success rate, reached base more than 3,900 times, and posted a .385 career on-base percentage, numbers that place him among the greatest leadoff hitters in baseball. After leaving Montreal, he continued to contribute as a veteran presence with the White Sox, Yankees, A's, Orioles, and Marlins. He won 2 World Series championships with the Yankees in 1996 and 1998, adding a late career chapter that showcased his adaptability and professionalism. Following his Playing Days, Raines remained active in the game as a coach and instructor, bringing the same intelligence and steady presence that defined his time on the field. His Hall of Fame case grew stronger as advanced metrics highlighted the full value of his skills. And in 2017, he was inducted in the Baseball Hall of Fame on his final ballot, a long overdue recognition of a player whose career impact was far greater than traditional statistics once captured. Tim Raines leaves behind a legacy built on precision, patience, and one of the most complete leadoff profiles the sport has ever seen. Now we'll place Tim Raines in context by comparing his career to a predecessor and a modern counterpart. Raines carved out a legacy through elite on-base skill, intelligent aggression on the bases, and a long stretch of one of the most complete table setters of the 1980s. Over 23 seasons, he reached base nearly 4,000 times and stole over 800 bases, and consistently sparked Montreal's offense during its most competitive years. His value wasn't built on eye-catching totals alone. It came from a blend of patience, contact, and run creation that holds up exceptionally well under modern analysis. His career WAR reflects both a strong peak and a long runway of above-average production driven by efficiency rather than volume. A generation earlier, Lou Brock provides the clearest historical foundation for Raines' style of play. Brock's impact came from a relentless pressure, elite speed, and the ability to tilt the game the moment he reached first base. Like Raines, he was a catalyst whose influence extended beyond the traditional counting stats. Brock accumulated more steals and postseason highlights, while Raines surpassed him in on-base percentage, base running precision, and overall rate production. Both lived in the same offensive ecosystem, dynamic leadoff hitters who shaped innings through movement, disruption, and the ability to manufacture runs. In the modern era, Kenny Lofton mirrors Raines' profile more closely than any other player. Lofton paired elite center field defense with top-tier speed, strong on-base skills, and a long run of impact seasons throughout the 90s and early 2000s. Like Raines, he excelled at getting on base, stealing efficiently, and generating value through athleticism and baseball IQ. Their WAR totals set in the same range, and both were consistently among the most valuable leadoff hitters of their time, even if their contributions were sometimes overlooked in award voting. Across 3 eras, Brock in the 60s and 70s, Raines in the evolving offensive landscape of the 80s and early 90s, and Lofton in the power-heavy environment of the late 90s and early 2000s, you can trace a lineage of leadoff hitters defined by speed, on-base skill, and sustained excellence. Each served as the engine of his lineup, creating value through efficiency and intelligence, and each set a standard for what a high-impact leadoff presence can look like across the changing eras of the game. The 1981 Topps baseball set marks the end of Topps' long-standing monopoly and the beginning of true modern competition. Released the same year Fleer and Donruss entered the market, the product was issued as a single 726-card series and distributed in wax, cello, and rack packs throughout the season. The design is clean and functional, full-color photography, thin borders, and a baseball cap graphic along the bottom carrying the team name and player position. Card backs feature Topps' familiar full statistical lines, short bios, and a cartoon panel when space allowed. The checklist captures the era's defining stars, Mike Schmidt, George Brett, Nolan Ryan, and Rickey Henderson, along with a strong rookie class that includes Hall of Famers Harold Baines and Tim Raines. Raines appears on a 3-player Future Stars card with Roberto Ramos and Bobby Pate, a format typical of the early 80s Topps. The card feels modest, but it introduces one of the most efficient leadoff hitters in baseball history. Raines' career makes this one of the defining rookie cards of the decade, even if the presentation is understated. For collectors, the market ranges vary. A PSA 8 will run collectors around $20 to $30, a PSA 9 around $75, and a PSA 10 reaches upwards of $1,200. All right, now let's look at the card. Here's my example, the 81 Topps Tim Raines. Now I got this about a year ago as I was looking to piece together some of the remaining cards of my post-war Hall of Fame rookies collection. This card is readily available. I wanted to try to get a higher grade example for the collection. I found this one on eBay. It's a nicely centered copy, sharp corners, a nice image, and I paid $35 for it. The back, again, that's it's nicely centered and no major issues. This one is a PSA 8.5. 8s will cost about $10 to $15, and 9s will cost right around 90 to 100. So I split the difference and got an 8.5. Now, as I was actually doing this video and the research, I noticed the pop count on the 81 Topps compared to the 1981 OPC. The Topps version has roughly 9,000 total graded copies. The OPC has less than 500. And the OPC can be found for still a very inexpensive price. So I actually went ahead and bought a PSA 8 OPC on eBay last week. It should be here next week for $80. And if you think about the price point on that, this 8.5 was $35, and this is a total pop count for all graded of 9,000 compared to the OPC, which has a less than 500. It's less than 10% of the Topps versions, and it only cost about twice of what the normal version is. So I went ahead and got one of those for my collection just as a value proposition. And once that arrives, that'll complete my Tim Raines collection. Tim Raines' card catalog spans one of the most interesting and collectible runs of the 1980s. While his flagship rookie and mainstream Expo issues tend to draw the most attention, several standout cards from his first few seasons capture key moments in his rise and reflect the transitional era between late 70s simplicity and the sharper and more premium designs that would define the later 80s. First, the 1981 OPC Expo Stars card is one of the most distinctive early Raines' issues. Released exclusively for the Canadian market, OPC's lighter cardstock, bilingual text, and smaller print run gives the card a noticeable different feel from its Topps counterpart. Raines appears alongside fellow Expo standouts, capturing the excitement surrounding Montreal's emerging core at the dawn of the decade. Next, the 1981 Topps Traded card gives collectors Raines' first true solo Topps card, issued after his breakout rookie season. Unlike the multiplayer Future Stars card in the flagship set, The traded version presents Raines on his own, with a clean portrait, updated roster placement that better reflects his rising status with Montreal. And then we have the 1984 Topps Tiffany card. It represents the premium of Raines' early 80s catalog, printed on high gloss white stock with sharper photography and a limited production run, roughly 10,000 sets. Tiffany version stands apart from the standard release. Raines' card from the set captures him firmly in his prime, already established as one of the game's elite leadoff hitters. Together, these three cards, the dual release of the 81 Topps and OPC Future Stars, the sharper single-player 1981 Topps Traded, and the premium stock 1984 Topps Tiffany, showcase the range of formats that define Raines' early cardboard footprint. Beyond these touchstones, his full planned day run stretches from the late 70s minor league issues to his final cards in the early 2000s, covering everything from flagship Topps and OPC to Donruss, Fleer, Score, and the glossy premium lines that emerged later in his career. It's a checklist that blends widely accessible base cards with pockets of scarcity, giving collectors a long and varied timeline of one of the game's most efficient and dynamic leadoff hitters. If you've made it this far, thanks for watching. On deck, I'll be taking a closer look at Johnny Evers, the sharp-minded second baseman at the heart of the Cubs' early century dynasty, a player whose instincts and field leadership helped define the dead ball era. I'll also break down his 1909 E95 American Caramel, a distinctive caramel issue in his career. See you then.